Hey guys, today we're going to be working with some JavaScript. I'm going to explain to you what JavaScript is and what it does by nature, and we're going to do some transitioning and animations so we could navigate between screens. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is we're going to link some files before we start. So let's open up our CPT folder with our project in it, and we're gonna go to CP, and it should be here, and we have a CSS and image subfolder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new folder called JS for JavaScript. Okay, and I'm gonna want you to go to and let me make this bigger. And you're going to go to http hub60.com/iPhone new/js/dan.js, and I'm going to show you how to link them in a second. I'm just going to write down all the links that we need for right now. Okay, and I'm going to go to the website on the bottom of the screen over here. Let me open up a new browser tab. Okay, and I'm going to start with dan.js, and what you're going to do is go to the website, and all this JavaScript should come up. I'm just going to click Control A, which is the select all, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to open up Notepad Plus and paste it and save as. Dan.js, and just change it to a JavaScript file type. Okay, and save in our JavaScript folder, and I'm going to close it, open up a new file document, and I'm going to go to the jQuery JS. Again, Control A, copy, paste, and I'm going to save it as jQuery.js in the JavaScript folder, and it should save. And the last thing we're going to do is go to our transitions.css file. Okay, and I'm going to copy and paste, make a new document, and save as transitions.css. Okay, so let's go over, if you still need a minute to link these, just pause the video. Okay, I'm going to go over what these are and what they do. Dan.js is my library. I've made it for you guys, so doing transitions between screens and pop-ups and things of that nature are extremely easy to use. You don't have to write them out by hand. As you can see, this is just the CSS. It's kind of, you know, intricate, and the JavaScript gets a little harder because you have to know how to handle the hiding and showing of certain divs after you complete an animation. I'm just going to briefly go over it, but when you are an app developer or a website developer, you'll find that using other people's libraries are very easy, and unless you're in the business of actually furthering HTML and wanting to make it better, it's probably easier and more efficient to make money by using other people's libraries, because some of these people that make the libraries are, you know, extremely good at what they do, and if you can't do it better than them, then there's no point in then not using what they've made. In every language, people have already made libraries in C++, Java, etc., etc. There's hundreds and thousands of libraries out there that people use every day. It's just the way it is. So, but I'm briefly going to go over what each does. And jQuery is just another library. It's a very popular library. We're going to use it to get web data and make the clicking of buttons and stuff on the screen a lot easier, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, so let's first start with the CSS. If you haven't done the animations tutorial, please turn this video off and go do the animations tutorial first, because in the animations tutorial I show you what animations are, and I show you keyframe animations. So if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to show it again because I did show it in that video, and I would expect you to know what it is already, so I'm just going to briefly go over how I use it now. Okay? Alright, so in my CSS, let's oops. Okay, so in my CSS, I've made a predetermined amount of animations and transitions. Let's go over some of them. Let's see. Let's start with here because this is the top, and I'll go back to what keyframes are doing. Slide in 3/4. If you can see, it will slide in a div 3/4 or 75% the way in. I've done it for. I'll show you where I've used it to show you what it does. And because I've set a definite width of 320, this comes out about 270 pixels, somewhere around there. This is using slide in 3/4, so it's 3/4 of 320 pixels, and then when you click one, it slide out 3/4, and it goes back to being behind our view. Okay, so if you want a div to come out 3/4 of the way, I'll show you the JavaScript to call, but this is what it does. It translates X. Translate means that it takes a div and it slides it either way you want, to the left or to the right. Minus 25% will bring it to the left, and or actually in this case to the right, but it can go either way depending on how you have your original CSS. Okay, so flip out left will actually just flip a div. I don't really use it because native animations are a little bit better at this point, so it looks kind of choppy, so I don't really use flips, but I would stay away from it. Slide in, this is some of the stuff. This is actually I use this all the time, slide in and slide out, which is this seeker div is going to slide out, and the new one slides in. That's all it is. Slide in, slide out, slide in, and the other one slides out. And when I click home, that slides out reverse, and this slides in reverse, which is over here. So one goes to the left. This one goes from viewport into the right, slides out to the right, and regular slide in comes in from the left. They just go in from different sides. They do the same exact thing. Slide down in, which would be a div coming in from the top of your screen, and then coming into the viewport. Slide down out would be from your viewport, and it goes down out, so you can't see it anymore. Which ones are out? And then we have slide up in. I've used here. If you click on edit profile, we have a div that slides up in, and it slides right back down out when I call it to. Okay, so that's slide up, and I'll show you. You don't have to really know what these are. These are just part of the JavaScript. Okay, so it's cool. You don't need to really mess with knowing how to make the animations or doing them. If you want, obviously, I've already showed you how to do it. You just make a class. You call in your animation name, and you make the keyframes for it, which would be from here, from opacity 0 to opacity 1, which fades in. Okay. If anyone's interested in really having some knowledge of making their own custom animations, please feel free to email me, and I will definitely walk you through it. Just because of time constraints, I could honestly almost spend 3 weeks on animations and transitions by itself. And as far as having enough time, we don't, but I will email you some stuff and help you if you need it. Okay, and dot low will change the opacity of a div. Say that you want a div to be semi-transparent, and the show maybe that it's disabled, or they can't apply an action to it, and then you change the class to high when you want it to be fully opaque. And I'll show you examples of this as we go through. Okay, so more importantly, we should go through the JavaScript that I made for you guys. So let's go to I did a great job at making it pretty plain English, so let's quickly go through what some of these do. Function fade. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to have one div fade out, which is 1, and div 2 will be the div that we are going to fade in. So you know what? Let's do an example. Let's make a new HTML page and save as. We're going to call it transitions.html. Okay, and it should be in your main CPT folder, so we could easily link our transitions and our JavaScripts. Okay, so let's define our doc type. And I'm going to try and make this a little bigger. I don't think I can make it any bigger, but I think this is pretty big. Okay, so let's go to, let's make our body. And close our HTML page. Okay, and within our head, we are going to link our first we're going to link our style sheet, and I'm going to bring it back once so you guys can see better. Okay, and after you link your style sheet, we're going to link our JavaScript. The transitions.css is the CSS in case you're having a hard time seeing, and script type text slash JavaScript source equals JS dan.js, and we are going to do the same thing for our jQuery. Source equals JS jQuery.js. Okay, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to open it in a browser. Okay, so we're going to inspect, right click and inspect element and go to console. If nothing appears on this console, that means everything was linked correctly. So let's just do, for example, I'm going to put a typo in dan.js. I'm going to put an extra D and save it. I'm going to run it again. As you can see here in the bottom right corner, you'll have a little X with a 1, and you'll be able to see when things aren't linked correctly. As you can see, it says file is can't be found, pretty much. Transitions.html blah 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 blah. dan.js can't be found. So let's get rid of the typo, and it'll be gone. I'll do the same thing with the jQuery and our CSS file. Save it, and we'll have two errors, one for the jQuery.js and one for the transitions. So just as a reminder, I don't mind if you guys ask questions, but you guys should try to debug things as much as possible. This Google Chrome's editor, if you will, or debug console is great for looking at problems in your HTML, even on just making a website, as I've been using throughout the semester, you know, for seeing if there's any semantic problems with my HTML, or making real-time changes as far as height or anything else to my elements. So just make sure they're linked correctly, and then we're going to begin. The second thing we're going to do is we are going to make we're going to open a style tag and close a style tag in our document. This is so we can do CSS in our HTML file. We're never going to do this real time. The only reason why we're going to do it is so you don't have to make another CSS file just to do this little practice for what we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is call this screen 1. Or actually, let's start with setting up our body HTML. Height 100%, width 100%, padding 0, margin 0. Okay, so let's do screen 1. Height 100%, width 100%, padding 0. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't need that. Position absolute, top 0, left 0. And we are going to make screen 2. And we're going to copy and paste the same exact we're going to copy and paste the same exact styles, except we are going to hide it, display none. And we are going to make background color green, and for the top, background color red. So we can differentiate between the two screens. Okay, so let's save and let's see what we have. Okay, oh, and I forgot to put it in the body. Okay. And we have our screen 1. Okay, so we're going to be practicing some transitions before we actually do the transitions for our screens. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make opening, closing script tags. Above the body. Script tags are holders so we can put our JavaScripts inside of them. It is mandatory that you put JavaScript in between these tags, otherwise it won't work and it will break your document. Okay, and what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a light scripting language. It's function based. So if you want to apply an action, say we want to fade in a div after we click a button, it applies an action. So if we want an event to occur, say we want a button to alert no after we click it, that would be JavaScript. So let's do like a little mini JavaScript, which is like a little hello world JavaScript. Let's make a button, input type equals button, value equals hello, on click equals hello. Okay, and this is saying when we click this button on click, we are going to run the function hello. So let's make the function hello, which would be equivalent to if we want to do one of my functions as like function fade in. So let's do function hello, function hello, and it is followed by parentheses and then opened by a curly brace and closed by a curly brace. So what these curly braces are is any action we want to apply to function hello will go inside these curly braces. So inside of function hello, we want to alert hello. And what is this doing? It's saying when we click on the button or any button that has function hello attached to it, we will alert hello, which is obviously just an alert button. And let's see why our button, oh, let's put our button inside screen 1. And we're alerting hello. It's pretty simple. Okay, so that is the basics of JavaScript. It's very pretty easy to follow and understand. You don't have to set up classes. You can, but for what we're doing, we do not, and we're going to do things pretty easily. Things get even easier with JavaScript, so we could actually get rid of function hello, and this is how we're going to do it in JavaScript. I'm sorry, in jQuery. Let's attach an ID. ID equals hello. jQuery uses something called CSS selectors, meaning we attach an event to a certain ID or class. So it's a little weird as far as syntax, but once you get used to it, it's okay. So let's type this function hello. Hello.click function. and we close it a little differently, curly brace, parentheses, and a semicolon. So this is a little different. Instead of having to actually put a JavaScript inline, which is actually not good, we actually just make a listener down here. So what is this saying? $sign is just the jQuery set variable. They want you to put a $sign, open parentheses, and inside these parentheses, now in the quotation marks, we put whatever ID we want to target. So it would be hello div or button, whatever, since it is a button, hello.click function. So anytime we click hello on our page, what are we going to do? We're going to alert hello. Okay, we're going to save and we're going to see what it does. The same exact thing. Obviously, this is a little, for just having to alert hello, it's a little much, but we are going to do more intricate things where this is a lot more shorthand than doing regular JavaScript, and this is very easy to attach events to divs and buttons and the body than regular plain old JavaScript. So we're going to use jQuery. Once you realize how this works, which is just attaching an event to either an element with an ID or a class, you'll be set, and it's very easy to follow. Okay, and if you're interested, go to www.jquery.com and go to documentation, API documentation, and you could scroll through the hundreds of API that they have. They have tons and tons of functions and methods and stuff like that. I mean, there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff that you could do. So, and we're not going to use everything here. I've pretty much used almost everything in this entire API, one way or another. But you don't have to. We're not going to for this class, but if you ever want to take it further, it's awesome library to use and very extensive. Okay, so what are we going to do? So let's, instead of our hello button alerting hello, we're going to do something from my library now. We're going to call fade. Fade. So 1 and 2, what is that? Those are the divs or elements we want to fade. So fade, and div 1 would be screen 1, which is the div that we want to fade out, and we're going to separate it by a comma and open quotations again, and div 2 is the div we want to fade in, which is screen 2, and let's do screen 2. And my JavaScript takes care of hiding the div after the transition is done, so you don't have to do any of the work besides call it. And that's it. And it fades to the next screen. So this is how we're going to use jQuery and my library together to do some transitioning and traversing through screens. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make another button in screen 2, and guess what? We're going to traverse back. And we're going to do ID equals back to 1, and value of screen 1. Okay. And let's attach our, we can actually copy and paste because we're almost doing the same thing, so we're only going to go back. So back to 1 dot click function. Instead of fading our screen 1, we're going to fade out screen 2 and go back to 1. And we're going to save. Hello, And now we could go back and forth between the two screens. Okay. Rarely, actually, you're going to be using back and forth traversing a lot. So if we have, let's say, we have something with an extended view. I use slide here, but this is the same concept. Now we're in the screen, we want to get back. That's our back. So I would use two functions, one to get there, one to go back. But my get to my second screen is attached to the list items, and then the back is just attached to the back button. But it's the same concept, just how you use it varies, obviously. Okay, so that's pretty much the basis of it. Let's try slide. Let's see. Let's try slide left. And to get back, we're going to obviously have to slide right. Because if we go one direction in, we have to go the other direction back out. Slide, and then slide back. Slide, slide back. And that's it. So it's pretty easy, and obviously it says slide left and slides left. We slide right and it slides right. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so let's try fade in and fade out. This is the basis of what we're going to use for, let's say, pop-out divs. So let's do a pop-out div. Let's add a pop-out div in our first screen. So let's div ID equals pop-out wrapper home and div. And inside the div, we're just going to say, hey, let's put a button to get out. So input type button ID leave pop out value close. Okay, and we have our pop out wrapper home. So let's give it a style. We always, like I said, we're going to have a z index of 999. So let's see, pop out wrapper home, z index 999, background color RGBA 000.7, position absolute, top 0, left 0, height 100%, width 100%, and that should be pretty much it. So let's see what we have. Oh, and don't forget, display none. Okay. So let's add a button to screen 1 saying we want to get to our pop-out. Input type equals button ID go to pop-out value fade me in. Okay. And we have our pop-out wrapper. So let's save it. Let's see what we have. Okay, so now we have our fade me in, but it obviously doesn't do anything. So let's do our function. Go to pop out dot click function. And what do we want to do when we click our go to pop out? In plain English, we want our pop-out wrapper to appear. So what would we use? We're going to use fade in. So fade in takes one div and fades it in. So let's do fade in pop out wrapper home. Okay, which is here, and save. And it should fade in. Now, like I said before, now we're in our pop-out wrapper and we can't apply any actions to the buttons behind it because we use a semi-opaque background, and it requires us to close this pop-out before we could get back to the screen, but we know that we still haven't navigated away from this page. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to get out, obviously. So ID leave pop-out. So let's add a leave pop-out. And we are going to fade out, which is fade in's brother, pop out wrapper home. Okay. So fade me in and fade me out. And that is the basics of traversing. It's pretty simple once you realize how, or understand how this jQuery works. It's pretty simple. If you go over it like once or twice and practice for maybe a week or 2 weeks, you really get the hang of it, and you'll find out traversing is actually pretty easy. And most of the stuff we're going to do in this class is like pretty decently easy. I've made it so at least that we don't have to guess on having to do most of this stuff out by hand, and it's semi-easy to at least traverse through the pages. Okay, so I just want you to send me this HTML file so I can see that you guys have done this tutorial, and that'd be great. Thank you.